All right, I'm Becky Carroll. I'm Area Director for Area 10, and I'm a member of Division 3 in Long Beach, and I live in Long Beach. And I don't know, are they going to put these questions up on the screen for us? Can anyone do that?
I don't think so, Becky. I think you just have to ask them verbally.
Okay. Okay.
I have them in front of me here, so.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I have them in front of me too, but
I don't.
okay. We did all of that. And if you are a co-president, how do you divide up your duties?
Well, I'll speak to that because Cheryl and I are co-presidents, and we just started this co-presidency. So we're not exactly sure how we're dividing it up. I imagine we'll probably work on the agendas together here on out. And maybe divide up some of the other duties we have, like maybe setting up Zoom meetings or calling for venues and that kind of thing if we don't have someone else to do it. We have a pretty big board, and we have
Good.
we have strong people in those positions. I don't know if there are term limits, but nobody else has stepped up to the plate, so I got a co-president.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah, and there's a question, there's a bullet here under president, co-president. It says, if there's an issue with board members who are no longer as effective as they once were. Well, you know, that could be said of all of us, I guess, in some way. But there are a couple people that probably that pertains to a little more than others. I don't know what to do about it. They come, they're very loyal, they're very dedicated. But, you know, as we age, we get a little less effective sometimes. So I'm open to your suggestions.
Good. I'd like to hear some suggestions because I also have I have kind of an issue in Area 10. I don't know how big of an issue it is, and I certainly don't want to give away any secrets or anything. If anybody has a suggestion of you maybe find another job for them, ask them to do something else. Of course, if they leave their post, then you have to fill that. You have to fill that post, you know, like if say they were the resource person or the insurance person and they're not doing their job, you might eliminate the insurance or you might ask them to do something else. That's my one suggestion. Does anybody have any others? Hear ye, hear ye. I know it's
Well, we do have someone who wants to give up a position, but we're having a hard time getting people to step in and take that position. So
yeah,
that's another issue.
yeah, and that is a big issue because personally, I've been doing our newsletter for 24 years.
Mm.
Wow.
I've been retired for 24 years. And when I joined, they sent out one of these little things, you know, oh, welcome to our division. And then there were about 20 things that I could volunteer to do. So I thought, oh, being a language arts teacher, I thought, oh, I like to deal with that. I'll help with the newsletter if they, oh, well, guess what? They didn't want help with the newsletter. They wanted somebody to do it. And
You're it.
and I was it. I have help now. I have a person who lays it out for me. She's a whiz on the computer. She's probably 8 years younger than I am. And so we put it out together. But now we're at the point where we're kind of tired of doing, I mean, it's become a real issue. And I hear you, when no one else wants to do it. And I don't, hopefully somebody new will come in and say, gee, I just love to do this.
That would be great.
That pie in the sky. Okay,
Becky,
let's see.
Becky,
Yes.
this is Evie Belante, Division 29. I was told, and I just need to know if it's in fact true, if somebody we think would be a good president but has never held office positions before, is it a requirement that they must have a position on the board before they become a president?
Well, I think, I don't know. What do the rest of you think?
Well,
It
I had a
shouldn't be
case,
just what I think.
yeah, I became president by someone asking me, and I had never had a position on the board before. And it
Same
was-
here.
They
Me
needed
also.
somebody.
Me
I
also.
was supposed to be a co-president, and my co-person had some personal issues, and so he resigned from that. So I ended up being the president. I was wondering, does everybody have 2-year term as president?
Kind of, yes. And I was president for 8 years. That's after I was the newsletter, and after I had that job, I became president too. I don't know how I got involved in all of this really, but it wasn't that hard. And I had people on the board who had been president, who had been in the division for a long time. They were good leaders. They were principals or, so I had a lot of help. And then, of course, there's that, manual for presidents, like all of those manuals, we have. I had a lot of support, and I had a pattern to follow. There was an established routine to follow. So I think if they're willing to be president, your board should decide if, you should discuss it and vote on it.
Okay, because I was told that it was in a bylaw that they had to have experience before they became president, and
Oh,
I haven't seen it, so that's why I'm asking.
Hi, honey. Oh my God.
I doubt that's the case. In Solano County, we've had presidents who were not involved in leadership at all twice now. The first time worked out fine because they had a co-president who was aware of what was going on the board, and those two people knew each other long term and worked very well. Recently, we had a co-president that was recommended by an elderly our election chair. She asked this person if she'd be co-president based on having dealt with her in the school district 30 years ago. And that person did not work out at all. They didn't understand the requirements of the job. They thought they had more power than they really did have. And in fact, that person ended up quitting our division totally. Before the end of the year. She just dropped being co-president and moved on.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Johanna.
Evie, I just wanted to tell you, I just emailed you your division's bylaws. So I hope that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I wasn't aware that it was in the bylaws, and of course I've read them, but I don't remember all the details. And I don't know. I believe in this organization. I'm determined to stay with it. And I think CalRTA does a lot for retired teachers. And so I'm willing to support to the end. Okay. All right. Well, we didn't really solve any problems. I think
But
forming, yes, go ahead.
on this, one of the questions was, if there is no president, who leads? So is it possible to have, a division with no president?
We have two. There are two.
No,
There are two divisions right now currently with no president.
okay. And what are they doing? Are they leading?
They have two or three. One of them has 3 vice presidents, but no one wants the official title.
Makes me laugh.
This
So
is
the
really a
three vice
problem.
presidents run it? Yeah.
I guess that's that. So if I have to send something out to all presidents, I default to the vice president.
Oh,
If
okay.
there's no vice president and no president, I default to the treasurer. I don't know what else. That's
do.
my personal hierarchy, I guess.
Yeah.
And if there's none, we have one division that's literally has nothing. And so then that defaults to the area director.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Yeah, we have one small division and they're in a lot of trouble. No one wants to step up. So
Wow.
They don't even want to get a partnership.
well, that the board's taking care of all of that. They're figuring it out. But
Okay.
the current situation is there's no board at all.
Oh, well, then that's a problem.
You were looking pretty good then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Becky,
Yes.
I have a co-presidency in South Bay, Division 46 with Karen Beverly, who's still teaching. She's a special ed specialist. And so
Wow.
she's been called to do a lot of teaching assignments, even during last year during COVID. However, how we divide the duties is I'm the one that usually builds the agenda and then send it to her. I send it to her for her approval or disapproval, additions, amendments, etc. And I do all the updates with the membership, names, addresses, those kinds of things. So I'm kind of like the secretarial part of the partnership. And I've asked her to do the signing off on the checks and all of that. I just thought that was best. After years being an administrator, I just didn't want to do that on this job too.
Okay.
So she does that. And when we have our in-person meetings, which we just had 2, we had one in July 7th, and we just had one September 1st. I let her chair the meetings because I don't see the need of 2 people there, muddling everything up. So I defer that to her, but we work very well together. Before this position, I've been on the board now about 10 years. I retired 10 years ago. I was invited to a meeting by a friend. I had another friend on the board who was doing the scholarships. Subsequently, both of those friends have left, and now here I am. And I had no desire really to be in any leadership capacity again after I retired. But I was called to be on a nominating committee. And out of that nominating committee, I ended up becoming a co-president. So it was kind of an interesting journey. I too, like I heard Becky say, she, has a lot of respect for this organization, as do I. So I am happy to take up the mantle of leadership. Although initially I just thought I didn't want to do leadership anymore. But I'm enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I think the people are wonderful. I attended the May conference, which I learned so much from, and I've learned a lot yesterday, and I'm learning from you today. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm ready to serve. So
Right.
I'm here, and it's my second year, so I'm kind of settling in, and we're doing a lot of things by committee because we don't have enough people. Last year we had our resource person died, and this year our vice president of programs died. I just attended a memorial service for her yesterday. So unlike what Janice was saying about, people not living up to their responsibilities, everybody that's living on the board is doing a good job. But of course, because of our age and different things that come about at this point in our lives, we're suffering from just, one member has Alzheimer's now. So she was doing the insurance and all those kinds of things. So we're doing a lot of things by committee now.
And committees work.
Yeah, they do. And everybody gets to participate as well.
And I feel the same way you do about the organization. I'm enjoying this. After I retired, I did a lot of traveling, a lot of fun stuff. And I think, did this fill the gap of grading papers every night and making lesson plans and getting materials and whatnot? Maybe it did. I just didn't. Of course, the closets aren't cleaned out yet. They're fuller than they were.
Becky?
Yes.
Evie, here's a thought. I was asked to be president as well, and I was reluctant to do it. And then after this 1-year experience, I thought maybe if we spelled out the duties of a president and looked at it and say, well, this could be the vice president, this could be the secretary, this could be somebody, so that the president feels overburdened with all this responsibilities. The fear when you ask somebody to be a president is the tremendous amount of responsibility that president has. So of course that's going to scare everybody. I'm not going to be a president. I don't, because they don't know what a president's job entails. If we could narrow it down to, some doable list that looks kind of attractive, and give the other jobs of a president to another office or another chairperson, I think once they know what is expected of them, they just might step up to be a president. Had I known what I have to be responsible for, I think I might have said, yeah, I think I can do this. But to be in the dark and say, hey, you'll be president, and you have no idea what that entails, that is scary. And that's going to scare anybody if you ask them to be president. But if you spell it out.
Can I respond to that? Yeah. One thing we did this year in our division, the standing rules has the different positions on the board, and we revised our standing rules. So we because some were outdated, and somebody found, wait a minute, I'm actually doing this belongs here. So we just went through and had a committee, 4 or 5, take the standing rules and update them, and that kind of helped. Now we have a rule for each board member, and we've added some things, took away some things, and made it current. So now we have something, that we can give people.
Workable. That's
to work with that way. Yeah.
So
And also,
John, have you presented that to someone that you need, for the office of president? What have you done with it?
well, we brought it to the board, our board. Now I have to, at our next membership meeting in October, bring it to the membership, because last time it was done was, I don't know, about 10 years ago. So we had these standing rules from, I think it was 2012. And so we thought, well, this is something came up, and that one thing led to another. We thought, oh, this would be a perfect time to kind of revisit this, update them, get them current. Now we do. So we had a committee that worked on them and then brought it to the board, and after the board approved it. And so now it's our next step is go to membership in October. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
I have we have 20 on our board, and I think there's 3 or so that were former presidents. So and it's been a pretty consistent board. So it's been helpful that way. We don't have a lot of changes all the time. Our treasurer's been treasurer for, I don't know, 8 years or something like that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our board does work really well together. Everybody does their job. We did eliminate one job because it wasn't done, and so we just eliminated the job. And I said, I don't know anything about insurance. I'm not going to talk about insurance in the newsletter. I'm hesitant to put any ads in, health insurance or otherwise. We do put things in about Medicare, like when you can change your provider, I believe that comes up a certain time. I don't do that. I just keep the same thing. And I think that's a good idea. Sometimes there are people who are willing to work on, to take a look at those manuals. They're massive, and it's like the teacher guides that were in the closet when I first started teaching. There was a whole stack of them. Did I ever read? I did look at them, but hardly had time to go through all that paperwork, and used other teachers as my helpers, and they helped me. Okay, so I think hang in there. That's what I always say, hang in there. Find somebody maybe to help with help on a committee or something, and do what you can. Okay, term limits. Yeah, there are. And what is it, 2 years for president? And you can do, I think, well, in our division, 2 years is the term. We still have not had a re-election because we haven't been able to meet with the membership. Our president said she would do it for 2 more years, and then we need to find someone else. Maybe. 2-year terms 4 times, 8 years. And that's what ours is set up. And maybe yours is different. Okay. All right. Okay, school districts. Do you want to talk about school districts? How many school districts does your division cover?
Wow.
Oh, I think we have about 8. San Jose Unified is the biggest one in our division. It's not this next bullet is what has been an effective way to communicate with the districts. Well, that's what I'd like to know.
Okay.
We try to do that, and it doesn't seem to get us anywhere. And with the union, I've reached out. We've sent postcards. I've called unions. I've done different things, but it doesn't seem to be very effective. So, any ideas?
Yeah.
Well, one of our other meetings that yesterday, the room I was in, they said, people were suggesting, look to the unions for some leadership, like teachers who belong to the unions and maybe had a job there. They might be interested in taking a job here. Now, we have a good relationship in Long Beach. One of our board members was the president of the Teachers Association. It was not called a union. And he's been working with us legislative in legislation. Reaching out to them, sometimes they can be very difficult. I know that CTAR can be difficult. However, I've been working on a board, which we have not done this. since everything shut down. It's called the VIPS board, Volunteers in Public Schools. And Long Beach honors, every school gets to send in the name of a volunteer, a parent volunteer, or a volunteer that works in their schools, and they're vetted. I mean, they go through a process to be sure that they're allowed to be at the school, to, do the helpful jobs like running copies and putting up bulletin boards, tutoring children, so on and so forth. So we honor those people, and I'm actually working on the board with a past president from CTA, and she said we should be more cooperative. Not we, but that CTAs should be more cooperative with CalRTA. However, she's been cooperative with us, and she's a member of our division. We in Long Beach give money to teachers, grants, $100. Actually, they've moved it up to $200 grants. Our president contacts the superintendent of schools and then offers it, and they actually will put, for a school district like I'm going to just say Bellflower, they will put it on their email that Division 3 is offering these $200 grants. Here's the application for it. And then the teachers apply. They send the applications to us. A group of us, 3 of us, we read the applications and we choose who's going to get the $200. A good way to get out and present things at the schools, and of course we were doing that for several years. How many members do we get from this? Maybe a few, but we do look for somebody who has a project they want to do with their classes and they need extra money for. However, we're still sending the checks, and we do get thank you notes. And she works with the superintendent of the school district because that gives it's permission for that to go out to all of the teachers in the district. So sometimes they're cooperative and sometimes they're not.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
I think about the original question about working with the unions. In Solano County, the current leadership really sees CalRTA as competition because they have their CTAR. Now, when I retired, I thought there was only one group, CTAR, and signed up. It was only later I realized that there was CalRTA. In CalRTA in Solano County, we have a lot of former union people, including myself, who are members. So we do get a lot of retirees, but working with the current active union people is a problem because of the way it's set up, that they're looking to keep their current members as retirees. Although the year I was a Union R member, I didn't see that they did anything other than send me the original magazine that they had stamped an R behind it. So anyway, that was my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
Some of our area members in CalRTA belong to both. And they were attending both meetings just to see what was going on. So that was, I thought that was interesting that they belong to both. I think we just have to keep working on it, you know, as best we can. But that's what I think. What do the rest of you think? Yes,
Not-
John.
Okay, couple of our board members know the union president, like in Desert Sands Unified, personally. So they've developed a relationship there. This past August, one of our board members asked the president if they could join the new teacher orientation part where they had the union part for the new teachers, and we had 80 new teachers there. So they allowed like 5-10 minutes or so just to introduce. And that was an opportunity to get emails because they explained about teacher grants. So they explained that that's available to them. So we were able to get their emails so that we can provide information for them from that. So just going to that back before school orientation and that little segment kind of helped us. Yeah.
Make friends, volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Make friends, volunteer for a little job, and you know, we're all friends. We don't need to be angry with each other.
Right.
Okay, good idea.
Johanna has her hand up.
Who else?
Johanna.
Can you see me, Becky?
Yeah,
Okay.
now I see you.
Okay. I have actually a question for you. When the districts are set, if you have a relationship like that with your district, you're lucky, and that's awesome. But when they send out those emails to you and you get those applications back for teacher grants, do you guys follow up? Do you get email addresses out of that? Do you get addresses or something out of it?
Yeah,
Do you follow up with them?
well, they're active teachers.
Yeah.
They're active teachers. What are you going to ask them to join a retired teachers association when they're
Yeah.
active teachers?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we do let them know this is what we do. And this is
Yeah.
what the fact that we give scholarships to college students to be teachers.
Yeah.
We let them know what we do.
So I just want to float a concept, and then I want to tell you one other thing. We all get the junk mail. You get the flyers from the TV store or the refrigerator store. And most of the time you chuck it because you don't need a refrigerator. But that one time it shows up and your refrigerator just died, you've hit gold. That's why they call direct mailing the numbers game. You have to keep putting your information in front of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 times is not enough. The other thing I wanted to tell you guys, for those that you are having trouble getting names and addresses, you have a couple of options available to you. I don't know if you're aware, but CalSTRS gives us each year, we're about to request the file for 21-22 right now, 2021. They give us the names of those that have retired the previous fiscal year. Now, what they give us is the name. So it's Johanna Hobbs, retired on 1/1/20 from Sac City Unified. That's all I get. And so we spend the rest of the year trying to get names and addresses, or to get addresses for those names. Currently, we're sitting at 90,000 perspectives. And that's what we use to do those direct mailers. I'm sure you've all seen the direct mailer, new members come through with your reports here and there. So those are available to you. If you want to do a mailer to those people, just let me know and I'll send you a spreadsheet of their information. The other thing that's available, if you want to advertise something to active teachers, we have approximately 140 something thousand active teacher email addresses that we found on the internet. Remember JJ from Good Times? I found it. That you have to go through Debbie Pate Newberry, our director of communications, and we have to be very, very careful what we say when we use those email addresses because they were not given to us. They were found. So you cannot sell them anything. You cannot ask them to join. You have to be so careful. But we use those, and we have been doing that since I believe 2011 or 2012. And now we use those email addresses to publicize the pre-retirement events. We're now getting people writing to us via email saying, when's the next retirement event? We're getting people emailing us going, when's the next teacher grant event? So all we've been doing is creating awareness of CalRTA. That was the whole goal of the whole thing. So that when your mailer or your visit or your teacher grant or whatever it is that each division is doing, they're not going, CalRT what? They know what we are. And recently, I'll shut up now, but recently, when people join online, we asked them, how did you hear about CalRTA? We got our very first one that said, CalRTA has been giving our school grants for years. I thought I should support it when I retired. The first time we ever saw it, I was here alone. The cats were not impressed about it, but it was exciting.
That is exciting.
So all that's available to you.
Sometimes we've given grants. I remember a we gave a grant, and she was retiring in June. She was using her grant to have a party for her kindergartners, and we kind of hoped that she would join. She didn't, but you have to keep trying. And I know that our membership chair in Division 3, we have two of them. They are co-membership chairs. One of them searches for email addresses to tell people about CalRTA.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's already available to you. You just have to ask me for it. You don't have to do the searching.
Okay.
It's already been done.
We'll ask you.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Okay.
Joanna,
Yeah.
I'm glad I've seen you personally. You were the one that helped my division come up with how many years each of our members have been members of CalRTA. And when we had our meeting in June, we gave those that were members for 5 years a little pin. Those
Oh, cute.
10 years, they got a pin. If they were in it for 15 years, they got a pin. And we got 2 of them that have been members for 20 years, and they got a pin.
Yeah.
So you broke it down so that I could actually come up with who our members were that were, members for so long. And we're going to continue doing that at every in-person, when that happens, meeting. So we can physically give them the pin, and we take their pictures, and hopefully they'll have good feelings, and they'll tell other retirees, you should belong to CalRTA because you're going to get a pin.
Well, that's nice. We honor our, in Division 3, we honor our 90-year-olds. And they have their picture in the newsletter. They had to send me a picture because we weren't meeting. And so I had some really interesting pictures. One was from a woman. She sent a picture in of her first class at a school way back when. And she was just tickled pink to see that in the newsletter because it was a big one. And when we do meet, we celebrate. Now, again, we're not saying how long they've been members, but we're honoring them with balloons and presents and a free lunch, and we make a really big deal out of it and take pictures and whatnot. So I think that honoring people who have been members for a long time is really a good idea. Okay, now.
So as far as honoring, this past year, we honored our past presidents in February. And this past year, we had our assemblymen come to as a speaker for our membership meeting. And then we presented each of the past presidents with a certificate from the state assembly. recognized in the past. So,
Wonderful. That's wonderful. We don't have any past well, I am the past president. And I think, unfortunately, I think I'm the only one left.
yeah, we had 7 or 8, and we had some from 20 years ago. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'd have to look at our directory and see.
I
Okay.
think it's
so-
because of your hikes, John.
Pardon me?
It's because of your hikes. You've got your
Yeah.
members out there exercising.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about that. Okay, history. Are you doing history books? You know, like, I have 2 of them. The notebooks are big. They're added to all my photography books, math. Are you doing keeping a record or anything, or is it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the John.
Okay.
Sure.
Our historian keeps a scrapbook. So we send different things that come in for the scrapbook, and she keeps that going. Been doing that for a number of years.
Uh-huh. Well, we don't have one in our division. How about the rest of you? Are you keeping scrapbooks or records? I don't know what to do with all these papers.
Yes, we
Yes.
go way back and we've got lots of binders.
Okay,
And I'm trying to get this digitized. And so I took some of the binders home thinking I would scan them and create this digital book, but I haven't done it yet. So they're sitting in my garage, taking up lots of space. And so I'd like some advice about that.
In Solano County, we've had a historian until about mid-year. And when she quit, no one else wanted to take the job. So, and actually no one wants to store all of these scrapbooks. I mean, I think we had about 20 of them for over the years. So we had our communication person put them, a lot of them online, and then the scrapbooks were taken over and are being stored in the basement of a museum. So
Wow.
they're still available if somebody ever wants to look at them. I think our members kind of enjoyed thumbing through some of them at luncheons, but it's a job that no one really wanted to do. So we pretty much decided that it's gone.
scrapbooks in our division were given to when the new president takes over. They give the historical book, the notebook, they give it to the president who is retiring from being a president. So when I became president, the lady cleaned out her drawer of the 4 years that she was president, and then I inherited those. Then some presidents, they didn't get theirs, and there was a fuss about that. Well, what happened to the scrapbook when I was president? In other words, apparently in our division, they were given, when you retired as president, you got the history book. One lady wanted to store them at Cal State Long Beach, and Cal State Long Beach said no. Or she wanted to put it someplace. And personally, I'm tempted to go through the scrapbook and take things out that I have, there maybe magazines or something that don't really pertain to our division. I don't know. I don't have any suggestions. Anybody else? Digitizing them sounds like a wonderful idea. Put it on a flash drive. But what are you going to do with it? Are you going to, hopefully, at a meeting, you could set up but that's a lot of work. I mean, you've got to have somebody who wants to do that.
Well, you gave me an idea that I'm going to think about trying to do is to get the newsletters that our divisions have published. We only do 5 a year because that's how many times it goes out. But put it in a binder and then have it available at when you get an in-person meeting, have it available because there are a lot of our members who don't do technology. And
Uh-huh.
so having it in a binder with past newsletters, they might want to peruse through that and get a sense of where our division came from, etc. So I'm going to look to see how far back our newsletters go.
There are some other ideas that you can use or choose not to, or if somebody says, oh, where's our history book, then maybe they'd be interested in forming one.
Yeah. I mean, we have pictures, we got photos, we've got materials, but I think a newsletter is enough of information to know about the history. You don't need a whole lot of other stuff. Just
Yeah, I have a notebook.
Yeah.
I have a notebook of my newsletters for the last, I don't know, and probably even more. But I have a notebook because I go back and refer to see who I put in as a new member, who has passed away, and I don't want to put them in twice. And so I do go back and refer to them occasionally.
Becky,
There's a lot of good ideas. Okay.
Becky?
Yeah.
Just a thought, since we didn't spend much money this last year because we didn't get to go anywhere. There are services that will digitize your stuff for you. And just, that's a worthwhile
Okay.
amount of money to
Signature.
spend from dues,
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
Joanna, do you have any specific apps or whatever this? Okay, so
No.
what would you look under Google to I mean, what would you put in there? How to digitize or
I don't know, I don't know. I guess if I were looking it up online, I'd say create a history book and start from
Yeah.
there
okay.
and just see, that ancestry.com. I mean, they're all about the ancestral,
Mhm.
they probably have resources. But it's worth, instead of spending all your time scanning stuff, that's your time, which if I make it to retirement, I won't be spending my time on that.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Okay. Okay. How are you connecting with the CalRCA office and board? Are everything okay with that?
I usually go through our area director, Steve Click, rather than somebody actually on the board, but I do
Mhm.
email people when I need to.
Okay. All right. Everybody should be comfortable with that and getting information. I know as an area director, I will help when I can, if I know how, or I'll get help. How can divisions connect better?
John had his hand up for a
Oh,
second.
yeah, I just wanted to, I've emailed, Joanna's been real helpful and been real responsive and prompt and stuff like that many times if I've had questions. So wanted to give her a shout out for that. So,
Mhm.
I got nothing else to do.
yeah.
You have a lot to do. You keep me up to date on everything. And the website, how familiar are you with the CalRTA website?
I've had my Marilyn Smith, our website coordinator, has done some at our membership meetings and board meetings, little updates and stuff that she's done some things with the website. So trying to just inform everybody that one, it's there, to use and what is there kind of thing. So that's been helpful that way.
And it's easier and easier to use.
Mhm.
It just seems it used to be when I went on something, I couldn't find anything. And now even what Sue showed us yesterday, how you go to division resources And then you can go over and you get a whole list, and then you can pick the one you want and it goes to it. It's easier and easier to use now.
Mhm.
I have a question. Yesterday in whatever room I was in, I asked about the website if maybe at convention next year, if you guys would like, or maybe a special thing, if you would like a Zoom visualization walkthrough of the website, would that be helpful?
Yes.
Mhm.
I think we,
Okay.
I think we need to see it a lot.
Yeah.
Some of us are like, they know exactly what to do and how to do it and where it is. And others like me, I mean, sometimes I even have trouble posting my newsletter on our website because I forget to do one little thing and I only do it every other month.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that would be
guilty.
good.
I don't use the website very much. It's on my computer. So I'm guilty of that. So when I try to answer questions, I have to go look for it too before I can tell you where. So I've been trying to be better about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate all your work. Okay.
I appreciate my job.
Okay. All right. Anything you want to talk about? What you use most on the website? Sorry. Personally, I'm having a fit here. Okay, somebody else needs to talk.
I wonder if people are getting more used to using that leadership file. What is it called? Leadership directory? Are more people getting used to
I
using?
have the leadership directory is sitting right on. I have a lot of stuff on my desktop because I can find it.
Yeah.
And if I don't want to look through all the files,
Yeah.
but I keep that right on my desktop if I need to locate somebody.
Now, Becky, do you re-download it every month?
Basically, I don't. Should I?
Yeah, the leadership directory. So I'll just tell you guys, I'm going to talk about this in my little thingy, but in case you're not there.
Thank you.
When you send changes for your leadership, for your board or your meeting information or whatever, it comes to me. I put it into the database. And then once per month, I run the leadership file and I send it to Ron Scott, our webmaster, and he uploads it to the website. And that happens once per month.
Okay.
Likewise with the members, you know how you can log in?
Yeah.
We upload that file every week. So same thing, people make a payment, now they're paid through. I send the file to Ron uploads it, and that's how they get to log on. So it happens, it's just because you found it one time, make sure you keep changing it.
Okay. Leadership
Or
directory.
updating it. Yeah.
All right. I will make a note of that because I have an old one here.
Because I just made 2 changes this morning that'll show up October 1.
Mhm.
It's always changing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Okay, now, what person do you contact most often if you have a question?
Area Director Steve Click for me.
Same here.
Same for me. Greg Barker and Debbie Fleiner.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Okay, all right, anything else?
I was curious, moving forward as far as membership meetings, how are people handling in person versus Zoom? Because of all the the COVID and the variant and all that, and some people are not comfortable going back to in person. Some are, and do we might just vaccinated people, or how are things like we're doing a Zoom for October, but people want to do in person, and we're trying to figure out, how do we balance everything this way? I was curious what the other divisions are doing.
Well, we were set to go back, but because of what you just said, We're doing a Zoom board meeting on Tuesday and a general membership Zoom meeting on Friday. I heard some people talk about park venues outside with bag lunches and things, so that might be something we consider. I'm going to bring it up to the board on Tuesday.
In Solano County, we had an in-person board meeting in August, and I was surprised by the number of people who attended. It was quite well attended. We're having a picnic in a park later this month because we saved so much money. Last year, we are paying for lunches for every person who attends. It's being catered, so people will get their own individual lunch. We've asked that only vaccinated people attend in order to protect our vulnerable super seniors. We are planning an in-person December luncheon. And again, we will ask that only vaccinated people attend.
We were told that the church where we have our board meetings will only allow us to meet there if we are vaccinated. So that's something else I have to talk to the board about. But right now, we'll have a Zoom meeting on Tuesday just because that was just a late breaking news.
Has there been any concern for members that are not vaccinated? Like they're saying they're being left out? If we just stay vaccinated?
We don't know yet, but that may be a problem. I don't know.
Our notice went out in our last newsletter, which came out in August, and no one responded that that they had a problem with it. And if they do, well, that's really their problem. We're a club as such, and I think we can have whoever we want attend. So the board approved a statement, and actually Area 1 is also using our statement about protecting vulnerable seniors. And we requested only vaccinated individuals attend.
Okay, thank you.
Does anybody require participants to show proof of vaccination, or do you just take their word of mouth that they are?
We were told yesterday at the leadership that you couldn't require them to show their vaccination card. That's what the CalRTA lawyer said. I question whether that's just his opinion and another lawyer would have a different opinion, but that's what we were told.
We had an in-person board meeting in, I believe it was June, and we voted to require immunization records to admit people. And nobody complained about it, and we had the meeting and all went well, but that's all I know.
And same with masks. Was mask required? And
Well, in Santa Clara County, we have a indoor mask mandate. So if we do meet indoor, we will be masked also.
okay.
I think masks were required to enter at the one we went to, but of course we had a luncheon too, so.
Right. Okay.
Division 3 is going to have the first time an in-person, but it's not a luncheon. We have not had a luncheon. We've had 3 Zoom luncheons, and they were our division, they like to come to luncheons. And we would have 100 people, 120 at our luncheons. They like that. But going on Zoom, very poor attendance. It was really disappointing. We even had Fritz, the weatherman, Fritz Coleman. We had him, and I think maybe we got 30 people out of that I think we have about 600 members. 30 people showed up. We have not had any in-person board meetings until this August, and they had it we have to have a new church. We were meeting at a church. that they will not allow us to come at all because they have a preschool there. So no old people with masks, nothing. We're not allowed there. So we're going to another church, a smaller venue. And when we are inside to listen to the music program that we've hired, we have to wear a mask. We're going to come out to the patio, and then we're going to have a cookie treat and some iced tea and coffee and water. This is the first time we're not sure how many people will show up. The newsletter went out late, so it's too late for them to sign up for it. Although I did send it out by email and tell them the newsletter will more likely not arrive in time for you to sign up for this. This is our first attempt. I'll let everybody know how it worked out. We're going to see if we can get started again. Some of my divisions have had in-person board meetings at people's homes, like maybe in their patio. I've attended a couple of them, or maybe at a restaurant. One division is just struggling to, because the newsletter person is kind of, quit because he was ill. And they're working out. So many of them are still on Zoom. Division 77 is still doing Zoom, and they're doing Zoom luncheon get-togethers. I wanted to ask a question about the park. And are you having like a catering truck coming in?
I don't know how the food is being delivered, but it's being prepared by a country club with individual boxes. So my guess is if it's a small number, I think we have 50 people signed up so far out of our 600 membership. If it's a small number, it could be that the luncheon chair is picking them up. I'm just not, I'm not sure, but we're meeting in a park, and we've reserved the spot at the park.
Yeah, I know of another division that did that. And it was up north someplace. It wasn't here in Southern California.
Yeah, we did a holiday drive-through at our country club last December. We had Santa, pictures with Santa, where they drove through, picked up their box lunch. And we had about 40 to 50 members came and did that. The thing that really helped us was our scholarship, because people were dropped off checks as they drove through.
Oh, how nice.
And we raised probably, I think, $800 for scholarships doing that.
Now, were the lunches free?
Yeah, this one we made the lunch free.
Yeah, we can do
membership incentive. Yeah,
we saved a lot of money this year. So the last 2 years, so we can provide a free lunch. And sometimes people really like a free lunch.
Yeah,
I love a free lunch. Okay, well, I don't know if we're finished. What time is it? It's 10:22. What do we have to go till 11?
We still have 20 minutes, Becky.
yeah.
Huh?
I have
We still
another,
have 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I have another issue or question I'm curious about.
Okay.
Our board, a lot of the board members are the ones that are active. They get involved in different committees, but it's trying to get the membership involved. And I was just curious, others have the same thing. How do you get other members to participate?
My question too.
Okay, how about your board members asking a friend that's in the membership? Have board members, I don't know, what do you think about that idea? Hey, do you know somebody who comes and and maybe they'd be willing or to help out. A little job, like, I don't know, making name tags or, helping out in some small way. That's how you get people hooked.
John, at our we had an last meeting, and it was in person because we felt safe at that time by June. And I passed out a survey, and on the survey, I put 3 different categories. Speakers was one, and then underneath that, what kind of speaker do you want? A legislative speaker, and one who'll talk about entertainment or health, or an author. And then another category was, what activities would you enjoy being a part of? Field trips, sing-alongs, picnics, line dancing, that sort of thing. And then the last category was volunteer. And then I looked at our programs for this year, and I thought about, what activities can they participate in? And we have what's called, we have a lot of volunteer positions. One of them was centerpieces for our division meetings when we meet. You'd be surprised, some people don't mind volunteering to do the centerpieces for your meetings. Another one was giving an inspiration at the meeting, and they checked that off. Another one was helping out in our membership gala. They checked off those things, and then underneath that was, what's your name and what's your contact information? And so I was able to garner people who will help with centerpieces, people who will give out inspiration, people who will give out postcard campaign, and that's their small contribution, but I'm going to get to know them when they come, when I meet with them in person. So that's how we can get people involved, with whatever's going on in that year. Instead of asking our board members, who's going to be in charge of, doing the centerpiece.
Yeah.
Ask your members, put it on a survey. So that's what I did on a survey. And I got some responses. So those are the people I'm going to contact.
Our centerpieces are little buckets for money for scholarship.
Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. I'll write
Maybe
that
we can decorate them a little.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Thank you. Mhm.
It's a good idea. That's how I got involved, was a little survey.
I think
Survey
Evie is
good.
on to something there. We're finding that the younger, if you will, people are not interested in infinite volunteering, but they are very interested in something finite. They'll do that all day long. Yeah, she's right.
Mhm.
Okay.
We have a sheet that goes around at the beginning of the year with all of those categories. And there's a lady who goes around and gets it all filled out, so everybody knows who's volunteering for each activity throughout the year, which is kind of nice to know ahead.
Idea.
Great, thank
And
you.
then she calls and reminds people before their meeting comes up. So
Oh, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Before we finish, I wanted to address someone's comment about how they hadn't been able to elect their officers because they hadn't had any meetings. And I just wanted to point out that the state board had said that the individual division boards may act as the membership and elect officers. So that's what we did, since we weren't having any in-person meetings. We just followed the state rules and were able to elect the current officers that way.
Okay. Thank you for that information. We just continued in Division 3.
But how can you continue if you don't elect somebody?
Well, she sent out the president sent out the list of people who were nominated, and that's as far as it ever got. It's the same people.
Right. I think there has to be an election to actually be official, though. So you can go back and have your board act as the membership. And
Okay.
it's a very simple process. We had a person say, here are our nominees. Are you in favor? And they were, of course, in favor. So,
We may have done that at a board meeting. I don't. I would have to check.
We actually had elections, and then we had a Zoom meeting at the end of the year. And our technology person put on a poll or a voting thing so they could vote. And that's how we did it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we didn't, we only had about 40 or 50 people because we have 1,300 membership. And on Zoom, as you were saying, you only get a portion of
Little
those
bit.
people, but that's how we did it.
You'd have some really tiny boxes.
No, I can't remember how it was done, but they just press a thing on their computer. It's like a poll.
No, if all 1,300 showed up.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We would have a little bit of a problem with that.
Well, and then you have to have a big Zoom account for 1,300 too.
Well, we have our own Zoom account for our board where we started out back in March of 2020. But now I think we're using an Area 5 Zoom account for that.
Okay.
We share that.
We have a Zoom account for Division 3 that's run by somebody else. My Zoom account is for my use in Area 10. So I don't use it for personal reasons, and I don't know, I just renewed the thing, and I'm always saying, oh, I can pay for this. And then I think, well, maybe somebody else should pay for it, but that's up to me. It's up to me what I want to do. But now I don't think I could do anything with 600 people. I
No,
don't think it's big enough.
you won't get 600 people on Zoom anyway, because not
I-
everybody will opt for that venue.
You're right. You're not going to get 600 people joining.
No. Unfortunately, yeah.
600 people don't have computers either,
Correct.
And
or
that's
emails.
that's another issue. The people who do not use smartphones and they don't have computers and they're members, they've been members for years.
Mhm.
They're dues deduct members. And so some of the discussion during this thing has been, how can we, let them know that we appreciate their continued membership and just keep those newsletters going. And
We send out a monthly newsletter, and we do an all call for any general membership things.
good. Okay. All right, Johanna, how much more time do we have?
12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was a message up here that we had 10 minutes about 2 minutes ago. So
There's a
11
little,
minutes. It's a little thing in the right-hand corner.
yeah, it says remaining
Mhm,
11:51.
oh, but that's the
good.
recording. But I think
Oh, I
Oh,
see.
yeah, okay.
I
okay.
think something from Sue said that we had 10 minutes, and
Yeah,
that was
that's-
a few minutes
it's-
ago.
This is from
Oh,
Sue. There it is.
5 minutes.
okay,
Oh,
5
minutes.
minutes. I see it. It just came
Yeah.
up. Okay,
Oh, she
Okay.
probably wants us to break out 5 minutes before. Okay.
yeah.
So I really enjoyed talking with all of you. I've learned a lot from you. I hope you've learned something from the rest of us.
Yeah.
Mhm, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We just looking at this, we have to hang in there.
Yeah.
And
We're hanging.
you have a meeting. I bowl 3 days a week. They finally opened up the bowling alley in June. And I live 2 miles from it. And I've been bowling since I retired. And we have to wear masks going in. Some people choose to wear them while they bowl. Sometimes they wear them while they are sitting, and then they drop them down under their chin when they go to bowl. That's worked out pretty well. The people who choose to come obviously do not feel bad. In other words, they're not coming in sick.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I
thank
think
goodness.
that
That's good.
I'm hoping that when you have a meeting, somebody's not, of course, they could be bringing it and not know that they are spreading.
Unknowingly, yes.
And it's really been difficult, and we all just use our better judgment as to what we're going to do. My area where I live, I go to the post office, I go to the grocery store, I go to the drugstore. not too many restaurants. Mostly everyone's got a mask on. Very seldom do I see someone without a mask on.
I think it depends on your county. And you're in LA County, so that is a mandate, but it isn't. You go to Ventura County, you go into stores, they're not wearing masks. So it just depends on where you are.
Yeah.
If
Santa
you-
Clara County, very strict.
And Orange County, apparently.
In our building up here in Sacramento, we have a mask mandate, but the people down the hall, they're younger people, they will not, they have never worn a mask
Really,
this whole time. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
none of them, of course, have gotten sick, right?
Well, probably not. Yeah. They don't care.
Makes you
It's
wonder-
really brought to mind for me a
Yes.
generational thing about personal responsibility. It really has brought it forefront for me.
It's just up to us.
And I've also had people say things to me in the store for wearing a mask.
Really?
For
I've been
goodness
called a
sake.
sheep twice. Yeah.
No, good.
That doesn't happen here, at least not in my experience.
Yeah.
No, it's not
Depends
happening.
on where you are.
Yeah. Plus it's already creepy because we're in a big 6-story building and there's like no one there, you know? So when we have our office days, we go in, I have a system now. I've got it down to a science. I'm in and out as quick as I can. It is so creepy there.
Wow.
It's a lot of office space. I mean, it's hundreds of thousands of square feet for the whole building. And it's creepy. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, I bet.
Plus, I'm always so afraid of the elevator now. I'm like, it's gonna break and no one's here.
Oh, and no one,
Oh.
they don't have anybody there to save you?
No, they moved out the office, or the management company moved out. They're done.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
They shut down their
Wow.
office. Yeah.
No
Wow.
wonder it's creepy. Yeah.
Everybody's shutting down their offices. There's just, we've kind of proved that you kind of don't really need it. I'm much more efficient here at home. I'm way more efficient. And I think it's because there's no phone. I think is what the thing is.
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah, I think we do well. Okay.
Oh, we have to leave
Oh,
the break.
we're
We
out.
have to leave
Bye,
the
everyone.
breakout
Thank
room.
you.
Bye. Thanks,
All right,
Becky.
bye. Oh,